now we're going to talk Arsenal, who maybe fell off the pace, the early pace in the Premier League with that defeat to Liverpool, draw with Manchester City, Liverpool winning all of their games so far. But going into this game, having seen Liverpool lose the day before, how important do you think that was in their mindset, Glenn, to make sure we come away from St James with all 3 points?
Probably not in their mindset, but in the rest of the country, everyone was expecting, especially going 1-0 behind, I think everyone was expecting Arsenal to falter. Not like you say, with that narrative of knowing that Liverpool, the ones they're chasing, had dropped points. But they showed a different side to themselves this weekend.
They certainly did, Leroy, didn't they? I was impressed with their first half performance, even though they fell behind. And then they had to call on their bench and use the whole squad. So let's take a look at their whole squad at the moment, because this is becoming quite impressive, isn't it? I mean, last season they've had a strong 11, I feel, but they've never had anyone to come off the substitutes bench to really change the game. You can't say that about those substitutes.
No, absolutely not. I think the first thing, people delight to see Eze, starting.
Yeah.
And in his favoured position, not out on the left, but in that number 10 position. And Mosquera, confidence in him to start the game ahead of Saliba, who'd had an injury problem. The fullbacks, let's just move those. If we can move fullbacks on the opposite side positions. And by the way, they have been terrific.
I think Glenn
Timber and Calafiori, keeping out Lewis Skelly and White, who were like mainstays in the Arsenal side last season. And then you look at the bench, obviously Saliba came on at half-time, but then you've got Odegaard. All people, you feel, this kid is just outstanding. Yeah. All players, you feel, can have an effect when they come onto the pitch.
Well, I think also what you can highlight as well is Saliba, Odegaard and Martinelli. They're starters for Arsenal, or they were over the last 2 seasons. So to be able to bring them from the bench, and Ben White, to bring them on from the bench, it just shows that strength in depth they've got now.
Yeah, I thought one of the slight changes was that Arsenal at times, when Odegaard's in there, can play a bit like this. I think on the game at Newcastle, I think Eze played as an out-and-out number 10. I think Declan Rice played a little bit deeper, and that led to a terrific fast start. I thought they started pretty well.
I was going to stop it there, Leon, because this was the kind of picture of the game a lot. You saw Newcastle almost going man for man all over the pitch, certainly at the back here. And so what Arsenal did, they recognised that. David Ray, obviously great playing out the back, recognised that, and then went long. And then you see where the two holding midfield players are. I think that's Declan Rice and that's Zubimendi, obviously Eze in that number 10 position. And it was all about the second balls. I'm just going to play it on hands to see where they dropped in and they're filling the spaces. You expected a big Newcastle backline to win that second ball.
How much do you like when you're seeing that players aren't necessarily having to play up from the back? They created a 4v4 there, Arsenal, and they play the ball forward quickly as a striker. That must be a lot.
Well, not anymore. No. Well, personally, I feel as though the Premier League is changing. It's becoming a more transitional league. It's not that slow, methodical build-up anymore. I think we're seeing a different generation, and this is exactly what we see. When people are brave enough to press, then there's always that option to go long. And I think when it didn't land at Gyökeres's feet here, but he gives them that kind of physicality up front that you're not just going to head it all the way back over us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then that allows the defensive midfielders to pick it up on transition.
Yeah, I just thought they created chances after chances. Here's one for Eze. And there was a running battle for a moment. It was Eze versus Pope. Some of them saves that they made. They thought they had a penalty kick as well. Arsenal at one point didn't go their way. They didn't... Yes, they got frustrated. They didn't sulk. They just kept on going, kept making chances. I mean, I like this. Look how many players they've got deep. Look how many players they've got in these kind of areas. Yes, Eze is not goal side, he's in a threat, but have a look how quickly they can counter-attack. I think they've got an all-round game at the moment also. I think they can be a threat in any way they want.
And just see, Eze goes from number 10 into a second striker. Now he's a second striker, and look how quickly they break from that defensive position. I mean, a new spot, this, Leon, just stop it there for you.
Yeah, well, how quickly they've managed to go from the corner to 5v3. I mean, that will have really shocked Newcastle, the speed at which those players can get forward. And again, here's the Eze versus Pope running battle. Surely you think you've scored when you hit them that well.
He's picking up the ball exactly where you want, just on that edge of that area, always available. And this is obviously the conceding goal. Question marks over defending there. I think he goes down a little bit easy, doesn't he? But then all of a sudden, you go into a ground where you've not had a great record and you're on the back foot.
Well, that's it. Arsenal have only won one out of their last 5 trips, I think, to St James's Park, so when they go a goal down in that moment, I think Arsenal fans are starting to worry because they'd had a really dominant first half.
I thought they were really impressive in that first half. If it was 3-1 at half-time, there'd be no complaints. And so I enjoyed watching Arsenal. Previously against Liverpool and
not boring Arsenal.
Not boring. I actually enjoyed watching their first half performance. You think, OK, it's positive. They should go, and even though they were goal down, feeling positive about their performance because they created chances in open play, which we hadn't seen before.
Yes, they did. But as we say, it was they were behind at half time. They didn't have the most impressive start to the second half, but they can now call to the substitutes and make these changes.
Well, I mean, when you're bringing the likes of Odegaard on, he is the one that can unlock a defence. And slowly, Newcastle did just start dropping back. Arsenal controlled the possession of the game, and you could feel that pressure building. But when you're in and around these 18-yard boxes, this is where you need wonderful players like Odegaard to be able to unlock that defence, find that killer pass, underlap and run from Declan Rice, and all of a sudden you can just sense Arsenal are really on top at this moment in time.
Yeah, and Odegaard was the centre of most of this. I mean, it was when you've not played for a little bit, when you're coming on the pitch and you've got that quality, you want to make an impact. And he didn't come in and just cruise through the game. He came in and tried to make great passes, didn't he?
I mean, This is wonderful, isn't it? There's only an elite group of players that can find or even see that pass, isn't there?
Yeah. And it was interesting, he became the deepest midfield player and Rice got much further forward. And this is the corner and he's involved in that as well. What a header from Murray. Outstanding header.
Inch perfect. Anywhere else, Pope gets it. Wonderful header.
Was a brilliant header. So, they get themselves back into the game through a set piece. As we say, they were impressive at set pieces all afternoon. Eddie Howe pointed it out in his post-match interview. And I think it was their variation, wasn't it, that caused most of the problems.
Before we get onto these, what I really liked about them drawing level was their killer instinct to take the game on from that point. There wasn't, do you know what, we're on time side, we'll settle for a draw. They really pushed that narrative, didn't they, of getting that winner.
Yeah, and it wasn't all about, sometimes you just feel when Arsenal are playing, they're playing for set pieces, but they were quite fluent. And these came about just their really positive play going forward. But you're right, the variation
and then
was
we're
really
just going to
good.
highlight them at the back here, aren't we? Oh, can't get it on. Let me see. So we've just got like a host of players back there. And they're just going to change that every time, aren't they? So they're not... Newcastle aren't expecting it.
No, they're not. So that was the first corner to the far post. There's the second one. They were quite spread out. What I will say is, for the majority, we've just seen our last corner, there's Mosquera there who's playing centre-half at the moment. And it's his job to try and get round Nick Pope in the Newcastle goal mouth to make it not easy. But we'll see as these clips goes on, Joe Linton is up against him, who does a terrific job of making sure that his goalkeeper has the necessary space he needs.
For how long?
Well, we'll get to that. So he comes out again. A good variation, Arsenal to the back post. They've tried something different there. On this occasion, players on the edge of the penalty area.
Yeah, there's Joe Linton again. This time he's keeping Saliba out of Nick Pope's way, and it's really important that we recognise that because you talk about set-piece coaching and their attention to detail, and we'll get to it. But he did let Newcastle down eventually. But this is Arsenal again. This time, no one's in around the 6-yard box, and it's a short corner. And it's something, again, they've worked on. It goes the other way. It was almost a mirror image of the goal, but they go to Zubimendi, it goes in the box, and they almost create another chance.
Yeah, it was impressive, and this was the goal. Again, as you mentioned, you can tell when they're going to do a short corner because they don't put anybody into that position. You knew they were doing a short corner. They work it wonderfully. Back to Declan Rice, that's a terrific ball. And make no mistake about the quality of that header from Marino. But just in that one moment, the goal goes in. Just look at the Arsenal players from celebrating. Look at Eze, Gabriel, to getting the ball back very quickly. This was the 88th minute. And yet they're not quite celebrating. It's get back to the box. Let's get back
Declan
on.
Rice nearly gets sucked into a celebration there, doesn't he? But then he remembers there's 2 minutes left.
And although you wouldn't think a 94th minute substitute can change a game, this had a huge effect, didn't it?
It was massive because, I'm just going to stop it here, because Joe Linton goes off and he was doing a great job keeping players away from Nick Pope. And then all of a sudden, Harvey Barnes comes on and no one is doing that job for Nick Pope.
And Eddie Howe will be so disappointed with this because it's just a lack of communication in the most important period of the game.
Exactly. A couple of minutes ago, no one said, look, this is the job I'm doing to Harvey Barnes. I mean, he's not as big as Joe Linton. Maybe we couldn't have done it as well, but it was so important. And you can see how it affects Nick Pope when the ball starts coming into the box. Because all of a sudden, he's wrestling with Arsenal players and he can't get a decent connection on the ball. And this obviously actually leads to the goal. I mean, you're disappointed with him there, Leon, aren't you?
Well, I think we're all disappointed in the sense that is the game. Keep hold of that, go to the floor, even if you kind of rolled it out to where you've got actual players and overlaps.
I think the disappointing thing is this pass is never really on either, is it? He's seen something that's not there.
Yeah.
He's looking for that pass, isn't he? Look, I think Mikel Arteta's down here. He thinks the game's over. He thinks that's it. Can't really see that.
I think he's waving for the whistle at this point.
He thinks it, and he's shouting, get back, but gives the ball away poorly. Arsenal get the opportunity to get the ball forward, back into the penalty area. Mikel Arteta, delighted. Let's take a corner kick. And this is the decider, Glenn. And we'll highlight our man Saliba again.
We will. Just drifting towards Nick Pope. And that leaves Tonali at the back post with a decision to make. I think he makes the wrong decision in this moment. He's marking space. He can see that Saliba's there. If we run it, can we just run it on a little bit? Because it does get highlighted, doesn't it? Is it just before that? Let me go back. They start pointing, don't they? There we go. It's Trippier is pointing who's got him.
Yeah.
And Tonali's got to go to him. Instead of marking the back post, he's got to mark the player. He's the danger.
Glenn, I think you're absolutely right. But I actually think he's been told to do that. Because you see he drops off onto the back post.
Absolutely.
And Arsenal, in their first, they were sticking it to the back post. On a couple of occasions, Trossard, we'll stop it here and we'll have a look at his position here. Arsenal were putting it into that area and he was asked, I think, to mark that space. And he's pointing to that position. And I think he's then said his job is then to drop back on the back post and get inside the post.
Yeah, we've highlighted, in fact, beg your pardon, it's a little bit before this.
There we go.
Look, there's two of them, just as we run that on, right? Someone mark him, he's saying there.
Yeah.
Somebody mark him. We'll come over to Trippier. Somebody mark him. You can see Tonali looking at Saliba. He's looking right at him, and yet, for whatever reason, they don't. Let's give credit as well to this man, Gabriel, who, as we'll run it through slowly, gets bumped 2 or 3 times. But
because that first point is that Pope can't come and meet this cross, isn't it? That is what we're saying here. But then the desire that he shows to get on the end of this ball, he gets knocked by Harvey Barnes there. We'll just see it there. He gets knocked by Harvey Barnes. He's got a 6'7" Dan Burn crashing into the back of him, and he actually wins this ball from a standing start. We just run it through slowly. There we go. Look, he's got no momentum, pure desire to get up above, and it's a huge moment already in the season for his team.
Brilliant moment. You see the way they celebrated. You see the way Mikel Arteta celebrated as well. The delight was real because they've been terrific at set pieces. I mean, I think this shows exactly how they're doing. The percentage of set piece goals has been a quarter of all their goals, pretty much.
I think it's a little bit of a worry that it's 60% this year.
only in the sense that obviously that it is 60%, but they played really well. And those games where it doesn't seem to be going your way, and those games where you've been frustrated in the way they were against Newcastle, it doesn't matter how you find the way.
I think that shows they have been reliant on set and playing to all set pieces. But that first half performance for a lot of Arsenal fans would suggest, you know what, in open play, we're going to start to create opportunities. They didn't take them on this occasion, but at least they're creating them.
Well, we'll have a look at set piece goals as well. This is the amount that they've scored since the 23-24 season. I mean, it's a brilliant amount, but look how much more than everybody else it is.
Well, I think key is to see how much more it is than Liverpool, or they're direct rivals at this moment in time. It's a huge advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. And big chances from set pieces from your overall team. It's still only not quite 20%. So they're still creating 4 open play chances to every set piece chance. That's why I'm not concerned about Arsenal. I still think they're creating chances. I think they've got quality in their team to finish these chances now. And, you know, if you were getting 4 big chances a game yourself personally, you'd feel you're having a good season.
Well, I hopefully get one of them. But yeah, no, it's a very good percentage for Arsenal, and he will be delighted with the way. And do you know what? I think the manner that they won the game, it creates a togetherness, doesn't it, and a belief in what you're doing.
Yeah, statement victory for Arsenal.